Good evening, Jan John here. Suppose you get a telephone call from your girlfriend and she says to you, "I'm sorry, but I have met another man. We are in love and I don't want to go out with you anymore." You have been jilted. Jilted. So jilted means your partner or lover has ended your relationship or dumped you. D-U-M-P-E-D, dumped. And this is going to lead to some very negative feelings on your part. You will feel rejected, sad, disappointed, maybe also angry. You may have received a Dear John letter. A Dear John letter is a letter which might go something like this. Dear John, I'm sorry to have to tell you that I don't love you anymore and I have met another man. We are very much in love and I want to break up our relationship. I think this expression comes from either the First or Second World War, when soldiers were away from home for a long time. Their sweetheart may have got fed up waiting for them and found another man, and then they may have sent a Dear John letter. Of course, the soldier's name was not always John. This is an expression. So I started thinking about jilted lovers and jilted killers when an horrific incident happened last week in the soy where I walk every day. An horrific incident. At about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a young man chased his girlfriend with a pair of scissors and stabbed her several times. I have posted a link to the video below if you want to watch it. Unfortunately for the young man, there were CCTV cameras in the soy, so the evidence of his heinous action, heinous, H-E-I-N-O-U-S, can be clearly seen. The photo I have posted with this video is another incident which I think happened in Taiwan, where the boyfriend killed his girlfriend. This kind of story seems to be very common in Asia. Jilted boyfriends getting angry or emotional in some way and attacking and sometimes killing their girlfriends. So today I would like to analyze this type of situation to see if we can gain some insight into it. I think I should start with a talk about violence. People get angry all the time. They get angry maybe every day, but very few people then resort to violence. Why do some people get violent, and what is the structure of violent behavior? Let's first start by looking at animals, because I think animals and human beings have quite different kinds of violent behavior. Animals are mostly acting upon instincts, usually with regard to food, territory, or mates, M-A-T-E-S. So you will often see animals fighting in wild places where they have to compete for food, for territory, and for the females. But this instinctual kind of violence does not have much of a thought process supporting it. It seems almost like a thoughtless reaction on the part of animals. For example, suppose I had a nice piece of juicy meat and I went out into the street looking for a pack of dogs. Then when I had found these dogs, I then threw the meat into the middle of them. What do you think is going to happen? Well, of course, they're going to fight, and probably the biggest dog will get the first and juiciest part of the meat. But there is probably not much of a thought process going on here. The dogs see the meat, they want it, and they get some kind of emotional surge to give them the strength or speed to try to get the meat. We probably cannot even describe this as an emotion in the same way we talk about human emotions. It would be difficult, for example, to say one dog is angry with another dog. We can see them fighting over the meat, but I think all we can really say is that they are being aggressive with each other, but it would be difficult to theorize about the thought processes or emotions going on. Human beings, on the other hand, are quite different. Most of our violence is supported and motivated by ideas. We do sometimes get angry or fearful based on instinct, where there seems to be very, very little thought process going on. But I think this is relatively inconsequential as an explanation of human violence. An instinctual violent reaction might be, for example, suppose I slip in the bathtub, fall down and hurt my elbow. In a moment of anger, I might pick up the soap and throw it across the bathroom, possibly while swearing at the same time. This anger is not directed at anybody. It's just an expression of my feelings, which may help me to get some relief. Let's talk about the violence mediated by ideas. Two obvious examples are religion and politics. So in religion and politics we can see violence all over the world every day, where people have conflicting ideas. The terrible violence going on in the Middle East, for example, is all motivated and we could say caused by religious ideas. And this also operates on a small scale. In the situation where the boyfriend attacks his girlfriend, we could also say in some way that this is caused by personal ideas which he has related to his own self-image and happiness. We all carry around with us a self-image of how we see ourselves in society. I have talked about this before in previous audios. We have a position in society, we have status, we have value, and when we are rejected, we feel that our social value or social status is being attacked. We may feel humiliated, worthless, and this may lead us to feel lonely, depressed, and angry. When you are rejected, thoughts go through your head, such as, maybe there is something wrong with me. Maybe I am not as good as other people. Maybe other people are looking down on me. These ideas can then lead to anger and possibly violence. An enormous amount of people's activities are based upon trying to improve their status. Sometimes I think almost everything we do is about trying to get more status in society. What clothes we wear, where we go to eat, what restaurant we eat in, what car we buy, how pretty our girlfriend is or how handsome our boyfriend is, how much money we have, what sport we play. So many of these activities have an underlying significance in regard to our status in society. For a man, for example, it's fairly good status to play football, maybe every Sunday, but maybe not quite so good to go to the ballet or the opera. A man going to the ballet or the opera may attract suspicious looks from other people because these activities may not be seen as manly. Getting dumped by your girlfriend is definitely not going to be high on your list of things which will improve your self-image. Much better to be the one who dumped her. Have you ever noticed that when people break up, sometimes the first question other people ask is who dumped who? Who was the one who broke off the relationship? This clearly shows that the important thing here is whether you were the rejecter or the rejected. If you are the rejecter, then you have not lost any status. In fact, you may have improved your status because it may make you look strong, in control of things. And if the lover you have rejected was pretty or handsome, people might be especially impressed. So I think I have explained how human anger and violence is mediated by ideas. If you did not have a social self-image, then when your girlfriend rejects you, you would probably not think very much about it in terms of how you appear in society. You may well feel sad that a close relationship has ended, but you're not going to have anything like the anger which can be seen in situations like the one we have discussed where the man violently attacks his girlfriend. This does not explain, of course, why some people resort to violence whereas others just get angry. I think the vast majority of people, when rejected, will not take a knife or a gun to their partner, but they may say some strong words, they may cry, but they're not going to try to kill the other person. It's still a very rare minority who will do something like this. To explain why some people resort to such extreme violence, I think we probably have to look at the culture in which they live. If this culture supports violence, especially towards women, then this may well be one factor causing this situation. I often notice with very young children that they are sometimes quite aggressive with their mother or father, and the mother and father do not try to stop the child behaving in this aggressive way. For example, recently I saw a 4 or 5-year-old boy hitting his mother quite hard with his hand in her face, yet she did nothing to stop him. This makes me wonder whether parents are sometimes responsible for adult violent behavior because they did not teach their children so well when they were very young. I'm going to stop this talk now and continue it in the next video. Good night, everybody.